Hello, my lovelies. My name is Chris Farah, and welcome to tonight. It's Sunday night, and you know what that means. It means there's a lot of basketball on, and maybe you're tired. But also, 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After. Also, right after that, Extreme Sisters. We know how this sandwich is working for TLC. They have their family night programming locked down. I like it. I think that it's just so interesting because I always think about how uh, families watched TV throughout the 60s and 70s and what they were watching. I'm thinking about Movie of the Weeks or the TGIFs or the Disney, moments or whatever it was. And so this being a hallmark of TV watching, I'm really into it. So, people are here. Yay. Got the notice. People are in. So yeah, I'm happy to see people's comments. I'm so excited to talk with you guys tonight about this episode. I thought it was really good. I was into it, a lot of juicy drama, most of it manufactured, but some of it I'm into and some of it I could do without, but I'll talk about the fashion choices of Libby and Andrei, which I have to talk about something, I guess, in their segment, and I just can't act for you. They're already acting enough for you, so I'm just going to give it to you real. One of us has to. It's a reality show. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm so happy to see you guys. Happy Sunday. I love you guys so much. So, hope all is well, my loves. My heart is still with those with the conflict happening in the Middle East, and I'm just my heart is with the Palestinians, and but truly anyone who is against, because there's a lot of beautiful Israeli. Most of Israel, by the way, is against the prime minister and the way that Israel is being helmed right now, which is so. The little countries at war with Palestinians, and the majority of everyone there is like, this sucks. And the people and the powers that be are just going crazy. That's what it's like. It's so messed up. I love, but a lot of people have been speaking up, and that makes me happy. But anyway, okay, so let's get into tonight, honey. I'm so into it. Kalani and Asuelu is the first couple I'm going to start with. It's interesting because I keep seeing Kalani on here, and obviously last season was very much like, well, we should divorce or whatever. So when they were on this season, it was sort of like, well, you guys really want to bring us through another one of these hellish situations that you guys just being depressed and fighting all the time. That's what you feel like we want to see, and here's the thing. Ronald and Tiffany are doing that as well to us. And Tiffany just feels like she made the decision long, long ago that there was no way that Ronald and her were going to be together, but she needed the money and she wants to be somewhat famous or whatever. So that's why this is happening. I feel like that's another reason why she was only too happy to be I'm not paying for that ticket. No, what I am getting is a California king. I am, by the way, going to Z Gallery, honey, and I'm getting all of this in rustic gray tones. Don't you worry about it. That's what I'm doing with the money. And whatever, how much money she gets in the docuseries for this season, I hope she just really sets her up, and Carly and Danielle, for her new life, truly. But we're not even talking about them. So Kalani is, talk about also just furniture. Kalani and Kalani and Kalani, Kalinka Dink Panika Mink, one of them, I don't know, the one that we are supposed to follow, the one with Asuelu. She comes into this living spaces, my loves, a living spaces with her sister, wearing the Beverly Hills Hotel print, honey, as a dress, okay? And then Kalini's there in a black jumpsuit. And they're shopping for Kalini's house with Asuelu that she doesn't have. So what a crazy situation. I felt like they just needed a space away from all the family members and the kids for them to go to have this conversation. I don't know why they just didn't go to lunch, unless it was just coronavirus. But in some of these segments, the coronavirus is not happening. Some of these people's storylines, they're oh, did they go to a different dimension to shoot Julia? Because there's no coronavirus there, honey. She's going to walk indoors without a mask to someone else and hug. Okay. But I'm just saying, there's so many interesting things to pick up on now. So, Kalani is walking around with a wallpaper dress, honey. She's she's like the children, the Von Trapp family children, literally made of wallpaper, but I love them, that Julie Andrews. So, you know what I mean? And if you know what I mean, give me a little comment, the hills are alive. A little mountain, like a Swiss mountaintop. You do you. So she's walking around Kalani, and she like sits on this like bench. It's like not a real bench. It just like topples beneath her. My God, God bless. And then they like take a picture of another one, like doing it for the gram, almost like we're getting a new bed or whatever. So then they just sit down on a bed, honey, and they proceed to have a very personal, very intense conversation that like these women just forgot, honey, that they were like in a retail space. They're literally sitting on like, living spaces on a bed. You know what I'm saying? They're like crying and stuff like that. She's talking about how like her and Asuelu don't have sex anymore, like not nary at all. Like, can you imagine people like trying to shop? Like, is this a whole set? Is it a 5-piece set? I can't tell. Is the bed included? Are you guys taking the bed? I mean, you're crying all over it. So later on, and here's one thing that I do get. Kalani's like, I didn't realize it was such a situation or such a big deal until I said it to my sister. And that's something that I really understand. I feel like sometimes I don't see things and or understand things unless someone else is with me and then I see it, or they point it out, or I see it with them, or they take a picture and then I see it in the background, or like they point, whatever it is. It's so interesting how you can become blind to things, a repetitive situation that you see every day or you experience all the time as being not weird or not strange until confronted by this literal energy of someone else mirroring it to you. I haven't said this yet. I always forget, but I love people for reminding people to please thumbs up this video. I mean, I would really appreciate it. The way that YouTube works and such is that I really need like algorithm snuggling, So, what I need also, I forgot to post this on Twitter. I'm so bad at things like that. Okay. So yeah, take this moment. You might have to exit out of the chat to do so. And I'm so sorry about that. I wish it was easier, but you have to just give the little thumbs a little nudge, just a thumbs nudge, because that's how I would make any money for this. And you're like, why do I care about you making money? And it's like, I get that, like it's annoying, but at the same time, like, can you just like make my life a little easier so I can do this more often? That's the only thing. And it's sort of free, which is great, like free for you, like, and ends up being money for me, which is a great thing for me. And just like a little like meh thing from you. You already signed up, on this YouTube situation. So also, if you haven't subscribed to me yet, I would do so. Make your life easier, in the sense of how you're going to find me again or not find me. Here's the thing. If you don't like this video at the end, you can always unsubscribe. And I think that situation's better because you're going to miss out, my loves, really miss out on more of my 90s hair, come talk live in this room. Okay. I love, by the way, tweeting during it. It really makes me happy, the episode. I feel like first of all, I remember what happens that way, and I get to see things immediately that people haven't, that didn't seem, and I also get to experience really funny people immediately and digest them bit by bit. And then everything about Twitter, other than 90 Day Fiancé, is trash and horrible. So, here we are. So Asuelu, Kalani. She's like, Asuelu, we need to be more romantic. He's like, I am totally romantic with you, because I bring you food. And she's like, my brother brings me food. He's like, stop talking about your brother, And so, yeah, he's like, I bring my woman food. That's good enough. Here's the thing. When I was in high school, I bought this book. It was like 101 Ways to Be Romantic. And I have no idea why I booked that book, because like that book was made for middle-aged people who had been married, were married, and the romance had died. And I started reading this book at age 14 when I just wanted some romance, like a taste of it or whatever. And it's so interesting to me because the things that Kalani brought up, like role playing, also seems like 90s versions of like bringing the romance back. Truly, a romantic situation would be like, I don't know, having secret Instagram accounts and then like Instagramming, DMing each other or tagging each other in sexy pictures. That's like what could be a romantic situation now, like not porn, you know what I'm saying, but like whatever, or just like a secret, or that's just like off the top of my head. But role playing is just like it makes me feel real 90s about it. And it's so interesting because he didn't understand what role playing was. He just thought they wanted to be other people, not themselves, which I guess technically it is that. I love the fact that he wasn't into that, but he's into the idea of role playing his own life with her. I guess, yeah, they obviously used to bone hardcore, but the thought of him, which is the truth, being a kayak boy who seduced this older woman who's a virgin from America and then is like boned all the time and like is what he needs, which is his own life. Asuelu is so interesting. Kalani says that divorce is not in the Samoan culture. Like they're, once they get married, it's a done thing. And so in the previews for the next episode, her dad gives that back to her, that he doesn't think that she get, well, at least in the soundbite, that maybe he doesn't believe that she should get divorced from Asuelu. Now, however, that could be a tricky soundbite. You know how TLC would be just to give him that soundbite and then be like, well, usually, as Samoan culture would say, you should always stay married once you get married or whatever it is. But seeing as Asuelu's never been a husband, he can give his own situation. I want to know what that opinion is, of course, because I would be surprised if Kalani's dad's like, you guys should stay together. Because Kalani's sister is like so disrespectful of that whole situation. She basically is like, I'm going to give you all of my opinions about what's going to happen in your life, how you shouldn't have a house, even though you have 2 kids together. And I mean, Kalani has nothing going for her at this moment. I mean, people are really audacious with their opinions. And I think that sometimes it's not only disrespectful of, the direct person, in this case, Asuelu, but it's like really disrespectful someone of her sister because it's so intrusive. And here's the thing. It's a tricky line because it isn't like Kalani is telling Kalani not to say things or that things are going well. She's obviously telling her sister everything. But I think she also has to be like, don't say shit. I don't know. That's how I feel. Let's move on to Angela. So Angela, honey, it's the day of her surgery, and she's not been smoking. Natasha's there, Angela's surgery coordinator, wearing like this fringe jacket thing. I mean, like Natasha's surgery wardrobe to be in these hospitals is bananas. I tweeted this or whatever, but like Natasha's wardrobe also didn't stop smoking. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is hot. It's just, I feel inappropriate, for the hospital, but also appropriate for TV. She has the breast doctor, who's the one that she's into, right? God bless, who massaged her medically, God bless, talk to Michael and pretty much try to assure Michael that Michael's going to enjoy his results. And she, however, Angela, is anxiety-ing. She's feeling all the feels, and here's the thing, I get it, because God bless, to smoke as much as she has smoked and to probably be in the unhealthy, I understand the eating situation, the eating realm that she's in. She's dealing with anxiety. She's not just anxiety there, honey. She's been living in the anxiety. She just doesn't even know it, or she's not conscious of it. But that's what this is. And this is what that is, like the whole thing. So, and probably why she's so quick to anger and things, like all of it. It's a mixed diagnosis. She doesn't quite understand the depth of it. So truly she should be on anxiety medication like all the time sees. And hardcore, if one moment of whatever I say in the journey of Angela is taken for truth and can be taken to her as a nugget, it's that. Please tell her, honey, that like look into some Lexapro, truly, because I think it'd be good. I love you guys so much, and I'm so happy you're here. If you haven't yet, yes, give it a little thumbs up. I'm so happy to see the guys. Welcome. Yes. Okay, so I feel like Michael is going to I think that Michael is not going to like Angela's new breasts as much as the doctor thinks he is. Like, I think that he liked the way they looked before. And so we'll just see. Angela is getting an IV. It's a poke in her. She says she can't breathe with the oxygen. The doctor's like, ha ha ha, 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 you know, just like trying to get that nos in that Angela, you know, just like breathe it, honey, like go out, knock out. She puts like her mouth back into the oxygen, which is just like mixed with her things, honey, and she gets like a real happy dose. She's like, I'm fine, you know, like I'm so sad that we didn't get more Angela on drugs. Like that's the kind of producing I need TLC Sharp to do. I don't need the Libby, right? I don't need you to micromanage that Libby's, his whole family, and the Andre and like the Chuck, and they're all going to wear, you know, khakis, and they're all going to wear blue shirts. Like, I don't need that kind of like organization in my producing of this show. But what I need is you guys to take whatever you have left in the budget and slip that doctor an extra, like the anesthesiologist. Like, we need just like 5 minutes of Angela still conscious on something. Just, you got to clean, you know, like give her something like because, you know, I think in this kind of situation, they're giving her something to ease the anxiety before they give her like the anesthesia that knocks her out, you know, outsies. And I'm just saying there's like a period where I think you could have given us the golden moment of TV that we've been waiting for since Muhammad told us all about Danielle's medical problem, which would have been Angela like on these drugs, like, you know, whatever she's gonna say. Like that was like half Stephanie, like, give me my cigarette. I've been smoking cigarettes since 6 a.m. this morning. Okay, you smell it on me. You know, whatever it is, honey. It could have been so good. Oh, whatever. It's fine. That's fine. She has her friend Jojo there. Jojo is also anxious to call Michael, like, you know, in between the surgeries. Jojo's like, I don't know what's going to happen if Angela doesn't make it. If Angela doesn't make it, I guess I'll just have to step in. I'm going to have to step into the marriage with Michael. And I'm going to really have to take care of those grandkids and be on the show. And I'll be on Angela's Instagram and, you know, and I hope she doesn't die, of course, being JoJo, being her best friend. But if that had to happen, I would step in. You know, like JoJo, come on. She's going to be fine. So, you know, we're supposed to, at some point, have suspense whether Angela wakes up, even though we have watched her in many confessionals post the surgery looking already like a different person. And now she looks like an even more different person. So come on. Let's move on. Libby and Andrei. I don't know what to tell you about this one because it is just so fake. And the sister just like coming in and like getting mad. It feels like a play in this house, you know, specifically. Okay, so right, the whole thing is like Andrei just thinks that he's entitled to a business, and the easiest way is to go through Chuck, even though he maintains that he's an alpha male and does everything by himself. So why doesn't you, I don't know, go do it by yourself away from the family? But no, he does it with Chuck or whatever, who for some reason Chuck's whole thing, sexual pleasure in life, is to like sit after having made a whole group of his family come together, watch them very much contagiously fight, not contagious, but contentiously fight violently toward each other. And I feel like he just gets off in the corner. I truly do. It's so weird. So anyway, they go to this house, you know, he's like, oh, I forgot to tell you, Charlie's going to be there. And then suddenly one of them's going to be there, Becky. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know Libby's sisters and I can't know. But like, I will say that if you have any sort of interest at all, every one of those people in that family have OnlyFans accounts. I mean, and every one of the women on this show that have OnlyFans accounts need to study what to do with their feet in their sex pictures. Because there is a Discord that I'm a part of, which is like a message board where I have been privy to the Reddit finds of 90 Day Fiancé OnlyFans. And I mean, it's shocking and horrible. I mean, I mean, some of these pictures are just, it's not that they're sexual and that's what's bad about them. They are just so distasteful in the actual style and like content and composition and subject being presented. Does that make sense? Everything is like on a stained carpet and every foot is sickled, flexed, sickled, somewhat like darkened heel. They had been like walking around in the garage, and then God bless, someone was like, squat in that corner, stick out your butt, and I'm gonna take a picture and upload it. I mean, that is what these women are doing. Do you understand? I can't tell you the horror that I've seen. Like, I've seen it with my own eyes. I don't want you to see it, but I mean, there is just no elegance and taste anymore. God, I forgot what. I wish that, okay, listen, if there are any somewhat erotica or softcore porn aficionados, I remember in the 90s, there was this photographer turned porn director that would shoot the most beautiful lands, not like just setups. And it'd be like the most gorgeous models that were not fake looking, but also definitely aesthetically beautiful in some way. And they would just be like the sexiest, hottest things ever. I cannot look at these pictures of these women and like get turned on, and my eye goes to like the sickle foot, like how gross every carpet looks like. That's not where they should be going, but it's like the taste level is so off for me. I mean, maybe some people aren't going to porn for their taste levels, but I think that whenever you have a marketplace, you should know your marketplace and try and do better. And there are a lot of content creators in this world. And you can't just be, sitting on your laurels of Libby's last name on this show, honey. Like, step it up. If you're going to do OnlyFans, like, learn to point a toe, honey. Like, learn to like get a little room, honey. Like, I don't even know, or get a hard wood floored panel into a corner and then just set up shop, set up like a studio. I am not joking. You can even rent studios in LA. Like, you can rent spaces to have photo shoots and for by the hour. And that's how content creators sometimes do these things. So again, I mean, I'm dropping knowledge. I think that Angela should immediately go on some sort of anxiety pill. And I think these sisters, honey, and pretty much every woman on the show have to step up their stuff, unless you're Karini. Because I guess Karini's brand, and I'm going to get back to the show, don't worry, but you want what I'm talking about, because I don't think that everyone here has been able to be privy to the amount of images I have been on the OnlyFans of this. And so you take my commentary to be gold. It is. This has been revealed to me by my good friend who told me about Karini's specific brand of porn, which is, I guess there's a market for like very young, somewhat maybe third world country looking females in a room that isn't a hotel room of a luxury resort. That there is a market, that there is a thing, a fetish that men like young, poor ethnic women in their huts or hut rooms. I didn't realize that, but just that is a thing. Okay, so now you know, and I don't want you to know, but I don't want it to be, but I want everyone to know because it's a thing. And we have to call things out, honey, because it's like cockroaches in the night. That's so crazy. Like, what are you looking for? So anyway, God bless. Crazy. Karini has that market. She'll take pictures in Mickey socks, Minnie Mouse socks. You know what I'm saying? I really hate it. So I'm going to move on but that is like my whole dissertation on OnlyFans and 90-day situations. But in this situation, step up your game, Libby sisters. And I've seen all their vaginas. So, however, one of them storms in, like, why wasn't I invited to this situation? But I love her dress. It looks almost like a version of Missoni, but maybe also a Club Monaco, I was into the dress, but like every part of like her blink, like, I'm the listing agent, like Andrei being like, no, I am the listing agent. First of all, I don't care who's the listing agent. I do love the fact that it's like a flip or flop. I feel like I wonder if their show that they're angling for is literally flip or flop Family Day Libby, where every episode will be them taking a new project. Maybe Andrei's the construction person, Charlie's telling him what to do. And then at some point, Andrei and whatever that one is with the dress comes in. They have to show the house just like Tariq and Christina used to do. Like it follows that formula, but also has the drama of Family Day Chantel. Or it would have had the drama of Flip or Flop with Tariq and Christina if they had just actually showed what was really happening to them. I mean, behind the scenes. Because and I'm surprised they didn't, because they're such fame hungry people. They both got other shows, but now, Tariq is dating, I don't know if Wa knows this, but Tariq is getting married to a woman who sells real estate on Selling Sunset on, Netflix. They're all so just like, who can we get married to keep this whole ruse going, honey. Okay, so my loves, thank you so much, Kitty Cat. You're so sweet. I love the way you describe things. I thought I was the only person that noticed such crazy things. I noticed every horrible thing. So I want to move on to Yara and Jovi. So I love Yara, and I just love her. I think that she's my favorite character on this show ever. I'm going to say it. Having said that, if you had watched this whole time of me, I've often said I love Angela the most. And I don't ever want to have to excuse the verbal abuse that Angela, or whatever physical abuse that Angela has displayed. I can't. I don't want to, and I can't. I'm not for that. When I say that Angel's my favorite character, it's just because even that she brings a color and a light to scenes in a way that you're just never going to see with Libby and her family. Not ever, So, but Yara is not only very smart and not only always right, I feel like, says the things that are in my heart. She's always right. She's, in fact, in the entire time we've known her, been where she was right about the rug. My love, she was right about that white rug. It looked so much better, okay? She was right about the lukewarm crawfish sandwich that he brought her, my God, when she was pregnant. She was like, that's not good enough. No, you can't. No, I want a lukewarm crawfish sandwich. She was right the way she came back at Monty. I mean, the rightest ever been. She should be a lawyer. I love Yara, truly. It just makes me happy. She always makes me happy. So she's right about the way that she should be taking care of her child. And Gwen shouldn't be telling her anything. She seems like a great mom. She knows intrinsically what her baby wants and needs. She understands her baby in a way. And, it's so crazy because, let me say it this way. I have nephews or whatever. And I have a little nephew, and he's so cute, right? When he talks, I can understand 70%, 75%. But sometimes he'll just say something where I'm like, what? And he'll be like, and I'll be like, what? What, honey? Okay, so okay, so that's what's happening, right? And I am trying so hard. But if his his older brother Mason's in the room, I'll be like, Mason, what do you say? And he'll be like, he wants a new toy, whatever. I'm like, oh, Mason, you know exactly, because they're just with each other all the time and know each other intrinsically, they look at each other. I'm not saying that Jovi can't, but I think that literally Yara having this newborn baby on her chest, she just understands the baby in a way. It's a crazy connection. So God bless, God bless. So in this sense, Jovi's like, I want to go to honeymoon with you. And she's like, yes. And he's like, okay. And she's like, but I can't leave the baby. It's a brand new baby. He's like, yeah, you can. She's like, no, I cannot. It's a brand new baby. You didn't leave the child at some point. Kids are kids. She's like, kids are kids. This isn't a kid. No, this is not a kid. This thing, you see this sack of pink are you talking about with a wobbly head? That's not a kid. That's a preemie. I mean, still think of it's in my womb. I mean, it's hot from my womb. What are you talking about? At one point, do you clock the fact that I think that he's eating Milano cookies? Oh my God. I don't know why YouTube never notifies anyone about my situation. When I come live, it's so sad, truly. I wish that you'd be on my side. And that's the only reason why I talk about subscribing to me and like thumbs upping this much is because I'm fighting a losing battle against, honey, a website that isn't promoting me and doesn't like me as much as it should. It doesn't even like tell the people like truly that subscribe to you all the time when I'm going to go live. It's why I even have Vanity Fair on Facebook, so I can be like, all right, I'm also going live and put it here. Like, it's just, anyway, God bless. I love you guys so much, and I truly appreciate you. So, I love Yara. Great. So, Ronald and Tiffany. So, Tiffany has also gone furniture shopping. And I also want to say that I like her taste, and I'm happy that she's doing it. And she needs to have a place with things in it and a bed. Okay, so that's what's happening. And I think that Ronald's like somewhat understood this. So Daniel, sorry, I can't talk. Daniel is put together the bed with his mom, and he wants to call Ronald and like show it off or whatever. And it's really we are reminded how sweet Daniel is. Like, he is such a good boy. He's my boy, but he's also such a good boy. He's so smart and sweet, like somewhat sensitive and introspective, and just really level-headed for, some of the shitty decisions that his mom has made. So he loves Ronald, though. I think he just loved that like mask energy, Oh, God. Oh, thank you so much for that super chat. Yay. I love you. Thank you so much. That's so sweet. Yay. I really appreciate it. You're the best. Having this conversation with Ronald makes me like low-key sad, though, and also a little mad at Tiffany, because I feel like you're not going to stay together with Ronald. And I don't know how much Daniel's going to be able to see Ronald, because you obviously don't want to live in South Africa. So is this going to be like a perceived loss or a sense of abandonment from his life now? Because you made decisions where your son got exposed to like someone that wasn't a true stable force in your lives. Oh, God, it's like, I don't want to mom shame. I think that's like obviously a huge mistake that Tiffany has made. And I like Tiffany as a person. I don't think that she is a bad person. And I understand. And I talked about that conversation that she had with her mom about whether you can choose who you love, and the amount of personal responsibility Tiffany has to take about the way that she handled her relationship with Ronald. Tiffany kind of wants to be like, I was in love, and you can't choose who you love. And her mom is like, well, you definitely choose how you act all the time. You choose how you act. You behave the way you choose. You feel things. We can't always do whatever we feel. Like, for instance, sometimes when I have my keys in my hand and I'm in front of like a large body of water, maybe it's like a huge lake, maybe it's like a big ass fountain, I wish that I could just take my keys and then just like, I don't know why I always want to throw my keys into bodies of water. I've never done that. I've thrown other things into bodies of water like stones, and I'll do it. But like with my keys, the way that it's in my hand and like the jaggedness, I just feel like I would just love to throw it in. I won't ever do it. It's what I want to do. I choose not to act on a feeling that I'm having. Now, love is much more persuasive than this whole like whatever the hell that is keys in over a water situation. But you get my point. Like we all have feelings, we all choose. It's same with unrequited love. You can't be like, well, I was in love with the person, so I just kept calling them and kept trying, and they kept saying no, but I just kept trying. I mean, those people are going to be in jail. And we would be like, well, there's not a good enough excuse. You just because you love someone. And here's the thing. Obviously, I'm not saying truly what happened in their relationship, but from what we know that was set up in this season, which is basically, again, that she was hanging out in South Africa. Some other people that she was hanging out with called Ronald, were like, we found this American, come hang out with us. Ronald jumped into a car with horrible blonde highlights and held in a fart the entire time, but flirted with this person. And that's how they got together. So I know that she thinks that she was in love, but what I'm saying is, was it? And also, yes, it's sad for me now, knowing how much Daniel likes this man, to know this man lives in South America. He's never going to see this person again. Did I say South America? South Africa. It's sad. But Tiffany does make some very bad decisions, except when it comes to what's in her Sephora cart. Then she makes some really good ones. I hate the end of this Ronald Tiffany call, which is Ronald starts to do a little good, right? Where he's like, I got this job and I'm going to buy the tickets, right? And this is what I don't understand. Why is the job temporary? Does he mean it's temporary until he gets something better? Or does he mean this job he just got is for some reason temporary? Like he got a job as a mechanic for a bike at a bike shop, but it's only going to be for 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? That part is just interesting. I wanted to know more. And then she cries and she says this line. Now, when she says this and they tease this line, I loved it. And so I wrote it down because this is the entire season for them, like in a nutshell, at least up to this part. I don't know if there are some great twists and turns I would love there to be in this season for them. But so far it's been, how are you a man that does nothing and yet still expect more from me? How are you a man that does nothing and yet still expect more from me? Now, if I have any of my like somewhat conservative men, maybe they feel like somewhat way about this, but if you watch the show, no, you can't because this man has done nothing. But oh my God, women, when you heard her say that, did it hit a part of your soul where you're like, it felt like bullets, not bullets like in my heart, like against me, like, I guess I just really felt that. How are you a man that does nothing and yet still expect more from me? Hi. Yeah. I just was like, if Yara was there, Yara would have stood up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just like, hardcore claps, the kind of claps that wake someone up. I'm so sorry. Ronald's like, later on, like, whatever, take a breath. It's not a big deal. I was like, just take a seat. Also get a job. This is the same kind of thing. Like, do something. Don't tell me what to do. You do something and continue to do something until you saved enough somethings to mean something. He says, love you, bye. And the way that she says, love you, bye is as if she did not know how to get off the phone without having to say it in a way that wouldn't have just like been the end right there. She was like, love you, bye. Love you, bye. Love you, bye. I hate you so much. Like if the cameras weren't there, she'd been looking at me like, hate you so fucking hate you so much. I detest you. Why did I have this child with you? Why did I indebt my other child to thinking that you're his dad? I made every bad decision, again, except for my eyeliner. Such a great decision. But for some reason, anything in my real life, horrible. I don't see him buying tickets for them. Nope. Brandon and Julia. So now Julia, honey, back from Vegas on this farm. No green card in sight. She hates the farm. She would not have she would not have joined Farmville. She wouldn't be like in a fake farm, on a real farm. It's not for her. She's not like planting strawberries and picking them every 5 minutes, turning that into money and then buying more feed. I don't know. I actually never downloaded Farmville, but I understand how those games work. Julia goes into the city by herself like an independent woman with no Brandon and no Betty. I almost felt like the no Betty part was more surprising. And I almost feel like I needed like some like independent woman music. Like I needed some shots of her like walking down the street. She put her eyeliner on. I feel like Julie was feeling herself. But then, yeah, so I already mentioned this, but she goes into the shop. The way that's presented to us is that she made an appointment with a wedding planner just to pick the wedding planner's brain about being a wedding planner. And the wedding planner gets free recognition of being on the show by talking about how they know all of the vendors in Richmond, just in case you're getting married anywhere near Richmond. So this wedding planner also, I don't understand how a wedding planner works. Maybe works out of a bridal shop. Those are just bridal dresses, whatever. So Julie gets there, goes inside, honey, no mask. They shake hands. They go sit down. They hug after this meeting. I mean, it's like a parallel universe. I'm not even quite sure where it is. What is Richmond? Like basically she's like, well, Julia, what's going to happen if there's miscommunication? And the way she says it is like indicative of the miscommunication that could possibly happen because, Julia doesn't speak perfect English. And yeah, it felt a little negative. It felt like this person really wanted to make sure that Julia knew how hard a profession it was. It wasn't just flowers. It's making relationship with the vendors and filling out order forms or whatever it is, like, okay. I mean, there are a lot of beautiful jobs, and it's definitely hard to be a wedding planner because you have to, in any situation, like a sales situation, is get clients and keep your word of mouth clean, and that just means that you're good at your job, but it's not like the hardest profession to get into. Like, for instance, you don't have to have a degree. I'm not quite sure you have to have a license for something. It isn't like you have to pass certification for anything. You can pretty much do it from your home for a long time. It isn't like until, you need an office. You can do a lot of research and find a lot of information and make a lot of connections online even. I mean, if I get some comments from some wedding planners being like, Chris, you really look down on a profession, like, God bless. I think it's a great profession and I would, I'd love it so much. I'm just saying, for this woman to be like, I don't know, Julia, it's really hard. Like, I don't understand why anyone is looking at Julia being like, this is a woman that's full of light and full of love. Girl, this is how you do it. Okay, can you get to Richmond yet? Can you get to a place that has can you work in a bridal shop yet? And she's like, yes or no. Let's just say she says no, because she's like, no, I work on the farm. Fine, girl, work on a farm. Girl, then start becoming a little detective, a little researcher, and find out all of the venues in town. Look and see all of the flower people. Try and find their work on the Instagrams or the blogs. Keep track of the things you like on a Pinterest board. Go to forums and stuff like that. And then when coronavirus is, why don't you start going to trunk shows? Or why don't you start going to trade shows? Like, there's just so much information one can give someone that's like positive and stuff like that. And I just feel like, why isn't anyone being nice to Julia? Why am I giving her better work advice than anyone? Listen, I'm not expecting Brandon to give her good work advice. I'm just expecting him to be supportive. But this bitch went to a wedding planner. I'm not a wedding planner. I've never planned no wedding except for my own wedding in my mind 1 billion times, but never actually fruitfully in real life. You know what I'm saying? God bless, God bless. And so, but that's what you do. Okay, until you can work at a bridal salon, and maybe you work at a bridal salon and get to know more lingo. And at this time, also while you're working at the farm, yes, you getting those Zoom English lessons in to really refine that stuff. And then maybe your retail situation would be good just to get that freshened up in the environment of a bridal shop. And then from that, yes, you start to be the apprentice of a wedding planner, but definitely not that one. Definitely not that one. They don't want a compilation. I think you meant competition. Compilation? I think you meant competition. But yeah, I think so. Yeah. It's a small town. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I know it's a small town. That's why I just love her. Any sort of person that's like, well, we know all of the contacts in Richmond. Oh, all for 3? The two florists in the one banquet hall. Ugh, I'm gonna get comments like Richmond's actually very good and very nice, Chris, and don't talk shit about Richmond. So I mean, I'm not trying to talk shit about Richmond. I really don't know anything about Richmond at all. I don't even, God bless. This woman was just not the nicest. And because I love Julia, well, I like Julia. I mean, I tolerate Julia in some way. I just don't want her to always have negativity around her. She has to deal with Betty, honey. She has to deal with Brandon, honey, and this one. And then we have to believe that for some reason she's so scared about Brandon being stolen away from someone, as if for some reason Brandon is like the cat's pajamas or the pick of the litter or like a needle in a haystack or like the diamond in the rough. No, not any of these. Like, he's no Aladdin. Okay, don't you understand? So you're fine, and no one wants him, and definitely not this biddy that watched a movie on his farm 10 years ago, So that's what happened. Brandon's like, oh, okay. How did it go with the wedding planner? And Julie doesn't want to say the wedding planner was a bitch, but she's like, the wedding planner says I need to meet people, which is like people in the industry. But Brandon's like, okay, well, I have a one girlfriend. That bitch is not in the wedding industry. So anyway, they go to meet this person out, and then Julie gets really upset at the girl when they talk about their past times together, just like basic memories. I feel like I like the idea. It makes me somewhat happy. What seems to be the somewhat fiery quality of the Eastern woman who get fiery, fiery? No, that's not a word. Somewhat quick to anger over jealousy. I do like that quality. I mean, I know I just got done somewhat speaking shit about whether it's deserved for Brandon, but you don't see jealousy enough, I feel like, in that way. I feel like we're all supposed to be like, and then underneath the table, you're like squeezing someone's hand. So I don't know. Brandon's no prize. Okay, so, I also, one part of Julia I know I'm jumping back and forth. Julia's talk to the wedding planner was like going over her work history, and she said a whole bunch of crazy things that she was worked as a waiter and then a bartender. Oh no, a waiter and a hostess, a dancer, a designer. I was like, designer? Girl, designer for what? That's not true. Then for a judge, honey, documents for a judge. I mean, she's 2 years old. What? Julia, what's happening? Natalie and Mike. Did I do all the people already? Yeah, I guess I did. Really? I always feel like I missed someone. Sometimes I do miss people. But yeah, that's all I have left is Natalie and Mike. Please tell me if I have messed up, but Natalie and Mike. So where we left off, obviously, is Natalie and her huge breasts. I mean, so her bigs are boobs, or her bigs are boobs, is what I almost said. Her boobs are bigs, her bigs are boobs. We're left in the lobby of Equality Inn that she had put the lobby tables together for the sushi champagne birthday dinner. Then was a bitch to him, and then Mike left. They had two cars, I guess. He drove to Squim, and then she drove to Squim. Now, I thought that Tamara was going to have to come pick her up. So, God bless, that didn't happen. She drives back to Mike's and then just kind of jumps out of the car and is apologize. And he's like, no, you apologize. Okay, I'm sorry. And then tries to be cutesy wootsies until he sort of teases her back and pretends to be a dog. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. That's what the scene was. It wasn't fun to watch. It isn't, I don't know. Also, one thing is she gets out of the car and she's wearing a mask. So I was like, did she drive herself or not drive herself? Did production drive her? Or did she drive all the way with the mask in a car? So interesting. When she starts trying manipulate him and be cutesy wootsy, she's doing a lot of things with her hair, Mike, are you going to forgive me? And it's just I don't know. It's, I wonder if that kind of thing is the female, a female manipulation tactic. And I wonder if it has a name for it. Kind of okay, you know how gaslighting has a term? Is there a term for what that is? I don't know. I've said this before and I'll say it again. The minute that Mike made the decision to bring Natalie to see his mom, he had already decided that he wanted to divorce her. And he's doing this to get a divorce. He's doing it so he has the balls to divorce her and needs his mom there for whatever reason. Because we're used to a mother's boy, a mommy's boy on this show. And I think that we're somewhat also maybe like we're egotistical that we can clock them out as easy as some of them are clocked out, obviously. In the Colty, in that situation. But, in a way, I think that Paul and Karini is a mama's boy, right? And I think that Mike is a kind of an undercover mother's boy. I think that he made the decision that he can't be with Natalie, but doesn't have the balls to do it for some reason. So he's like, I'm gonna go visit my mom. My mom will do it for me. My mom is a tough old broad. He had the conversation with his mom, right? Like that he's gonna bring Natalie. And he's like, by the way, Natalie doesn't eat meat. And she's like, well, we can go down and fish with that hair. We already knew she didn't give one fuck, honey. She gives negative fucks. It reminds me of like that moment of, I don't know, of My Big Fat Greek Wedding. He don't eat meat? All right, I make lamb. No, whatever it was. Which is so funny because we have lamb in our house right now. It's a lot of Arabic food. I am surprised that Natalie can't feel the fact that Mike is over her. Maybe she does, and she was still waiting for the green card. Because I don't know what can happen with her status at this point. Is it that at this point, since they already got married but they're not together, if they get divorced, does she still get the green card? Or is it that he has to say that he felt like he's been frauded in some way, kind of like Danielle did for Mohammed? That's so interesting. I don't know because this whole situation's crazy. Her tits are crazy. I don't know what to do about them. I will say this. This is all I have for this episode. So that's the end of this episode, right? My loves. It was a lot of surgery situations I didn't watch. That was nice. I was like, nah, I don't need to see the inside of her stomach, honey. I don't need to see the inside of her lungs. I don't need to see the inside of that woman's stomach, honey. I don't want to see the inside of the woman's brain, honey. That's fine. Juan and I also watched the Single Life reunion part 1. I did not watch any part of the season. And the snippets I know about anything are just purely on Instagram memes or maybe a tweet or like the smallest promo that I watched of like Danielle talking to Muhammad or something like that. Okay. So the actual reunion was a fun thing to watch, specifically because I didn't want to invest in the whole season. But another reason why I didn't want to invest in the whole season, and I'm glad I didn't, is I really abhorrently hate Ed. What a true monster. I mean, the only one for him is Lyda. I think the only one in the entire world that man can be with is Lyda or Ursula, one of them. That's how low he is, okay? I know you're saying Ursula isn't real. Well, some would say an egg-shaped man isn't real. And the audacity of that man and the way he treats people. And I feel this way about Colty too, but let me just say, the Colty situation, it's like, I hate Colty very much so, but he's now with a woman, right, Vanessa, who was his side chick, right? And so through this whole reunion, she's like, I don't know what's going to happen because I don't really trust him because I know that he cheats because he cheated on everyone with me. So, even though I'm getting married to him, I just don't know if I can trust him fully. And I just don't care about. No, you can't. No. Can't care about you. Don't care about you. I hope you get whatever comes to you. You sick, women-hating bitch. I'm just not for it. I just think it's, I can't help but live by like a certain amount of like moral righteousness that I don't mind Like I don't want to judge people how they live or whatever, but at the same time, if you're asking me to care about your point of view, I can't. I mean, I won't expend energy on it. No, I can't. You made a bed, honey. It was a horrible, messy, I mean, sex-filled, disgusting, I mean, colty cum-filled bed that you decided to lay in is what you decided to lay in and roll around in. So, I mean, you got what's coming to you. And he's a nightmare. But with Ed also, I think he's so gross in the way that he treats women and the way that he's like mean to women and manipulative and fights. And I'll never get over this. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. And this is all you have to know about Ed. And yes, there are allegations that he's like been an assaulter for other people. But you have to know this about Ed. Ed, who looks like that, whose genes and DNA produced that entity. He looks in the mirror and he knows what he looks like. That's Ed. At one point in his life, got a beautiful, normal looking woman to marry him. And that beautiful, normal looking woman gave him a child. A beautiful, normal looking child. She X'd out him, his DNA, she gave his child a neck. And what did Ed do? He cheated on her. He cheated on her. Do you get what I'm saying? What love do you, that's why he's been single his whole life. That's why he'll always be single. Because the universe was like, oh, no, we can't. We can't. We felt bad for you, and so we gave you a gift. And you, like the keys of the brand newest Bentley that will never get old and never, or Rolls Royce or whatever car you love, like the keys of the best car that will never, ever crash or have an engine problem. You took those keys, Ed, and you threw them into the murky, murky depths. So we're not going to give you any more keys. And you're going to go around for the rest of your life yelling at doorknobs. I don't know. But like you can follow me on that metaphor. I will always hate Ed. I'll always hate him. You don't do that to women. This is this is one brand of feminism I have. Like I think there's whatever. Like this is like how I feel my most feminist is like the injustice I feel for females that have had to put up with specific narcissistic trolls like that. Like that's like where I get really heated. Like you can see it in me. Like this is like my brand of feminism. You're not gonna, I don't know. Anyway, so I love you guys so much, truly. Wasn't she 6 months pregnant at the time? Can you believe that? Yeah, she was. I forgot that. Little tidbit. The mother of his child and almost knew, yeah, I mean, she was 6 months pregnant. It's just hard. It's hard. It's hard. Yeah. So I'll never feel bad for him, and he can cry in a corner, honey. And he can be like, I had to go to Vegas. And I mean, truly, I just can't. When Ed said that all he wants is attention, that was like the truth that really hit home. I was like, oh yeah. I like the fact that Colty and Ed hate each other when they're so basically like toxic males that like will fuck over any woman. And a little bit like they see each other in each other and are just mad at each other. Okay, now I'm just talking about a show we're not talking about. Now I'm talking about, is that me? Oh, sorry, that's you. Now we're just talking about the single life, but it's because I got to the end of the show. I'm going to let you guys go. I love you guys so much. I'm going to see if you guys anything truly crazy to say or any questions. I want to give you a moment. I also want to give some love to my moderators in the room and to my super chat. Thank you so much. I don't think I missed any other super chats. If I did, I'm so sorry. I truly love you guys, and thank you so much for spending your Sunday nights here with me. And also, if you want, I did tweet funny things. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I am at Chris L. Farah. And also, of course, Vanity Fair on Facebook exists as, the ultimate resource of me. No, I'm just kidding. Just another option of seeing notifications. I love you guys so much. I love you, Lauren. Thank you. Christian, you're the best also. I really appreciate you, Christian. Here we are, my loves. Okay, so I hope you have a great week. Sunday night, I hope you really take care of yourselves. I thank you guys so much for being in this room with me. Take care of yourselves and each other. Stand up for what you believe and make art. Okay, babes? All right. Okay.